Nobody knows for sure whether St Augustine, who was born in North Africa, was black-skinned or white-skinned, or probably somewhere in between. These days it's rather good to find a saint who can be claimed by nobody in particular, but whose holiness belongs to the Church Universal. Augustine is remembered as someone who was brought up as a Christian by his mother, but very soon turned his back on it and rejected it altogether. He spent many years as a philosopher and a teacher and a public speaker, trying to avoid his mother's passionate devotion to Christianity. He'd actually run away from her on occasions when he saw her coming. Eventually, though, what converted him back to Christian faith was a realization, as far as he saw it, that you could never have wisdom unless you believed in something beyond yourself, and for him that meant belief in God. He also knew that you couldn't really prove God as such, but that the basis of Christian faith is a desire for knowing him, and that actually desire is everything, even though you realise that it's for what you haven't yet seen or haven't yet been able to prove. He also had an interesting take on the church, which is probably rather important for us to hear, in that he believed it was much more important for the church to hold people together, to be a unity between brothers and sisters, than it was to hold people to account for the individual correctness of their beliefs. In other words, at one level it was more important to be inclusive than to be pure. I think that's quite an important lesson for us, because we're all different and we all have different experiences and insights and vocabulary, and yet somehow brothers and sisters in Christ. He saw the life of a Christian as, I quote, an experience of an ever-deepening desire for God. And what you desire, he said, you cannot yet see, but the desire gives you the capacity so that eventually, when you do see, you are satisfied. He urges people, let us desire, my brothers and sisters, for we are to be filled. His most famous prayer talks about desire and restlessness. You, he said to God, you stir us to take pleasure in praising you, because you've made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they find their rest in you. Lord, as the night has fallen, and as we go to bed tonight, we recognise the restlessness which we bring with us from the experiences of this day. We acknowledge our desires and our longings and our yearnings and our hopes, with all the fears and frustrations that are part of it too. And we commit ourselves to that rest which in the end we can only find in you. Amen.